The solar system is the gravitationally bound system of the Sun and the objects that orbit it. It formed 4.6 billion years ago from the gravitational collapse of a giant interstellar molecular cloud. The four inner system planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are terrestrial planets, being composed primarily of rock and metal. The two largest, Jupiter and Saturn, are gas giants, being composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. The next two, Uranus and Neptune, are ice giants. Mercury is million miles from the Sun, which is also the closest to the Sun. Mercury's very tenuous atmosphere consists of solar wind particles trapped by Mercury's magnetic field, as well as atoms blasted off its surface by the solar wind. Its relatively large iron core and thin mantle have not yet been adequately explained. Venus is 65 million miles from the Sun and is closest to the Earth, and, like Earth, has a thick silicate mantle around an iron core, a substantial atmosphere, and evidence of internal geological activity. Venus has no natural satellites. It is the hottest planet, with surface temperatures over 400 degrees Celsius, mainly due to the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Earth is 93 million miles from the Sun and is the largest and densest of the inner planets, the only place where life is known to exist, and it is the only planet where plate tectonics has been observed. Its atmosphere consists of % of free oxygen. The planetary magnetosphere shields the surface from solar and cosmic radiation, limiting atmospheric stripping and maintaining habitability. It has one natural satellite, the Moon, the only large satellite of a terrestrial planet in the solar system. Mars is 140 miles from the Sun. It has an atmosphere of mostly carbon dioxide with a surface pressure of 6.1 millibars. Its red color comes from iron oxide in its soil. Mars has two tiny natural satellites thought to be either captured asteroids or ejected debris from a massive impact early in Mars's history.
The four outer planets, also called giant planets or Jovian planets, collectively make up 99% of the mass known to orbit the Sun. The ring, moon systems of Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus are like miniature versions of the solar system. That of Neptune is significantly different, having been disrupted by the capture of its largest moon, Triton. Jupiter, 480 million miles from the Sun, is 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets put together. It is composed largely of hydrogen and helium. The planet possesses a 4.214 Gauss strength magnetosphere that spans 29 million km, making it, in certain respects, the largest object in the solar system. Jupiter has 80 known satellites. Ganymede and Callisto are the moons of Jupiter. Ganymede, the largest satellite in the solar system, is larger than Mercury. Callisto is almost as large. Saturn, 880 million miles from the Sun, is distinguished by its extensive ring system. Saturn is the only planet of the solar system that is less dense than water. The rings of Saturn are made up of small ice and rock particles. Saturn has 83 confirmed satellites composed largely of ice. Two of these, Titan and Enceladus. Titan, the second largest moon in the solar system, is bigger than Mercury and the only satellite in the solar system to have a substantial atmosphere. Uranus is 1.78 billion miles away from the Sun. Has the lowest mass of the outer planets. Uniquely among the planets, it orbits the Sun on its side. Its axial tilt is over 90 degrees to the ecliptic. This gives the planet extreme seasonal variation as each pole points toward and then away from the Sun. It has a much colder core than the other giant planets and radiates very little heat into space. As a consequence, it has the coldest planetary atmosphere in the solar system. Uranus has 27 known satellites. It possesses a ring system and magnetosphere. Neptune is 0.280 billion miles away from the Sun, though it is slightly smaller than Uranus, is more massive and hence more dense. It radiates more internal heat than Uranus. The largest, Triton, is geologically active, with geysers of liquid nitrogen. Triton is the only large satellite with a retrograde orbit, which indicates that it did not form with Neptune, but was probably captured from the Kuiper belt. Neptune is accompanied in its orbit by several minor planets, termed Neptune Trojans, that either lead or trail the planet by about 1/6 of the way around the Sun, positions known as Lagrange points. The dwarf planet Pluto, with an average orbit of 3.6 billion miles from the Sun, is the largest known object in the Kuiper belt. When discovered in 1930, it was considered to be the 9th planet. This changed in 2006 with the adoption of a formal definition of planet. Pluto has a 2 to 3 resonance with Neptune, meaning that Pluto orbits twice round the Sun for every 3 Neptunian orbits. Kuiper belt objects whose orbits share this resonance are called Plutinos.